Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about inequalities. Your objective for the day is you should be able to write and graph simple inequalities with one variable. You should have already watched Math with Medina, and you should have already taken some notes, figured out some things about inequalities. We're going to go over a couple of those things, review them because I did not tell them to you. I want to make sure you've got it down. I'm going to show you how to graph these things, how to solve these things, and then we're going to move on and be done with them. Okay? Alright, you need to have graphic organizer number 5. This is side 2. We are going to start at the top. A couple things before we get started on that. Okay. You should have seen these terms. Alright, you need to see these and you need to know them to graph inequalities. Remember that if you see less than, if you see less than, alright, you're going to see this sign is going to go to the left. Okay, you also know that it will be an open circle. If we have greater than, you'll notice that the arrow is going to the right, and we also have an open circle. Okay, that works under one condition. That works as long as the variable is on the left. Okay, and we will show that a couple times in this video. It did show you in the last video, but we need to make sure we're clear on that. Okay, alright, we also need to know that if you have less than or equal to, notice that the arrow is going to the left, but the equal sign means it needs to be closed. Okay, same thing over here. It says greater than or equal to, the arrow is pointing to the right, and the circle is closed. Those are both important. Moving on. Okay, we're going to talk about solving inequalities. We're going to get started on our graphic organizer. So, little quick question, what are inequalities? Well, in my mind, what I think inequalities are just simply mathematical statements that have multiple solutions or a range of solutions. Okay? For our purposes, we're going to have multiple, all right? And we're going to go ahead and show you a few. All right? Some things to help you out. An inequality is like an equation, but instead of an equal sign, it has one of these signs. Less than or equal to, greater than, and greater than or equal to. Those four things, you need to know all four of them. So, here we go, graphing. When we graph an inequality on a number line, we use open and closed circles to represent the numbers. Right? Remember, less than, greater than, we plot with an open circle. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, we're going to use a closed circle. Those are all really important. So, here's your example. Number 1, you should be able to do this, and you need to be very careful because I'm going to show you some specific things that I want to see. Alright, it says specifically, x is greater than or equal to -2. Notice that the x is on the left side of the inequality symbol. Okay, these are inequality symbols right there. Since it's on the left side of the inequality symbol, everything is perfect. Okay, all we need to do is we need to figure out what number we're going to use, which is -2. And you can probably hear the cat. He's annoying. I don't know what he wants, but apparently he wants some food. Alright, anyway, we're going to move on. Okay, x is greater than or equal to -2. What we're going to do is we're going to find this -2 on our number line. We also notice that it has an equal sign. It is greater than or equal to. So we're going to go ahead and fill a closed circle. And our arrow is pointing to the right, so we're going to go ahead and graph it to the right. And what I want you to do on your graphs is I want you to do them like this. I don't want you to just use a straight line. It's easier for us to see when we do this, and we always need an arrow at the end. What this means is that there are an infinite number of solutions all to the right. So every number -2 or bigger is a possible answer. So infinite solutions. That's number 1. Let's go to number 2. Let's go a little bit faster. Okay, this one says x is less than 5. So we're going to go ahead. It's a less than. The arrow's pointing to the left. Because it's less than, there's no equal sign on it. It's going to be an open circle, so we're going to go ahead and find 5. We put an open circle, it's going to the left, so we're going to go ahead and make our line. Make sure it has an arrow at the end, okay? We want to make it filled in, make it look nice and big. There we go, we're done. Moving on, example number 3. Here we go, this one says x is less than or equal to 6. Well, once again, x is on the left side, perfect. Okay, the 6 is on the right side, perfect. We need to find 6. It is a closed circle because it has an equal to sign, and we are going to the left because the arrow is pointing to the left. Here we go. And we are done. That's graphed it. Alright, moving on. Next one. Example number 4. Here we go. This one is x is greater than 1. X is greater than 1. Okay, we look at that symbol, there's no equal sign, so we're going to have an open circle. We are going to the right because the arrow is pointing to the right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go like this and put our little arrow at the end, just like that. Make it nice and big so everybody can see it. And congratulations, you have solidified some graphing of inequalities. Congratulations. Let's move on. Okay? Alright, here's the thing. We do have to be careful about a couple things. Alright, now this one is going to ask us to solve it. But here's the deal. Hey, this particular inequality is a problem. It's a problem because we have our variable on the right side. If we have our variable on the right side instead of the left, we cannot follow the direction of this arrow. What we would actually need to do is flip everything. And I'm going to show you a couple of those in the next part. Okay, we're not going to do this one because this has actually got to solve it. I want to show you how to do that first. But when I do, remember that if the variable is on the right, we're going to have to flip everything. All right, so we're going to get started. Solving inequality. Basically, in order to solve them, we follow the same rules and the steps that we used to solve an equation. That means drawing our line, doing the opposite, the inverse operation, all those things. Remember, we undo addition and subtraction first, then multiplication. And whatever is done to one side of the inequality must be done to the other side, just like normal. Alright, here we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so we have what we call our inequality. First thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our line right down the center, just like we did. Now, we have to be very, very careful because, like I just said, the variable is on the right side. We're going to go ahead and find that variable. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and solve it. We have 8x. Well, we want the variable by itself. So how do we do that? Well, we do the opposite of multiplying by 8. So we would simply divide both sides by 8. And that will give us 4 is greater than or equal to x. However, we never want our variable on the right side. So what we need to do is we actually need to take it to the other side. How are we going to do that? Well, we're simply going to flip everything. So what we will do is we will put x on the other side. The greater than or equal to will become less than or equal to 4. It means the same thing. What we did was we flipped all the options, and now we have a perfect opportunity to graph right here. So now we have x is less than or equal to 4. So we need to find 4 on our chart, which, if we can tell, this one is actually going to be counting by 2. So we can tell we're going to count by 2, so I'm going to go ahead and put my numbers in. This is 2 and 4. Go ahead and put our closed circle. The arrow is pointing to the left, and we go ahead and make our arrow. Alright, that's example number 1. Here we go, example number 2. Once again, this time we go ahead and draw our line straight down the center. The x is on the left side, perfect, we're not going to have to flip anything at the end. We do the opposite operation. Opposite of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2 on both sides. 3 times 2 is 6, and we're not using an equal sign, we're using a less than sign, and we have x is less than 6. We need to go ahead and find 6 on our number line. It is an open circle because there is no equal sign, and we need to go ahead and move the arrow is placing to the left, so we need to graph to the left, and we put our arrow. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all we do. We solved it and graphed it. Number 3, here we go. Draw our line straight down the center. Find our variable. Uh-oh, it is on the right side. Remember, I always said identify which side it's on. That's why, because with inequalities, we got to remember that's a problem. Right? What are we going to do? We're going to solve them first, and then we'll take care of flipping it over. So we do the opposite operation. We're going to subtract 9 from both sides. Uh-oh. Whew, that's weird. We have a negative number. 6 minus 9. Remember bills and allowances? 6 is an allowance. Negative 9 is a bill. If I have $6, but I owe Mr. Williams 9, I can't pay him, I still owe 3. That's negative 3 is less than or equal to x. However, we have a giant issue. In this particular case, our giant issue is that we need to flip everything. So we're going to go ahead and take that x, put it on the other side. We're going to flip this over, and we're going to get x is greater than negative 3. Okay, x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So it's greater than or equal to, we need to find negative 3, which negative 3 is going to be right here. It is a closed circle because it includes the equal sign, and our arrow is pointing now to the right. So we're going to go ahead and put ours in there, to the right, and we need to put our arrow at the end. Congratulations, solved and graphed. Last one. We have 2 is greater than x minus 7. Once again, it's on the wrong side. Man, there's a lot of these today. What we need to do is we need to go ahead and draw a line down the center, and we need to do the opposite operation, which is going to be plus 7. Plus 7, that gives us 9 is greater than x. We need to flip it, so we flip all things. X is going to be less than 9. Now we can graph it. We need to find 9 on our number line. We have found 9. It is an open circle because it is not an equal sign. And we're going to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, awesome. We are done. That's an inequality. Congratulations. Perfect. All right, those are our 4. You guys, I know this video is getting long. Pause the video, do these 2. Then I'll show it to you in the end. Go. All right, I'm back. Hopefully you already did them. Draw my line. Okay. Should have done the opposite operation. Divide by 9. Divide by 9. Remember the x is on the right side. That gives us 2 is greater than x, but it needs to be flipped. So it should have been x is greater than 2. Okay, sorry, it was 2 less than x. X is greater than 2. You need to go ahead and find it. You should have found 2. It's an open circle. We're going to the right and graph it. And yeah, we're done. Boom. We're done. Next one. All right. Once again, the x is on the wrong side. Congratulations. Found it. Do the opposite of divide by 8. Multiply by 8. 1 times 8 is 8. Less than or greater than or equal to x. We need to flip it. X is less than or equal to 8. Need to go ahead and find 8 on our number line, which happens to be here. It is a closed circle because it has an equal sign. And we're going to go to the left. Boom. Done. Congratulations. Those are your 2. Guess what, guys? Your exit ticket. These are your 2. You need to do these. You need to show them to Mr. Williams before you can move on. Congratulations. You're going to be working on your worksheet. We're out.